Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again, and it's about midnight, and I find myself still worried and troubled about you, about the predicament that you're in, and your lack of wisdom about how to get yourselves out, and not knowing that that lack is predicated on the fact that you've never spent that much time thinking about that which is practical, most practical, that which is absolutely necessary in order to get what each of you want. And that is for your lives to be great, for your lives to be responsible, that you have a lot of enjoyment and not have to fight about it all the time and not have to struggle at all. Now, I know every last one of you want that. And the world knows that you want that. That is your purpose for being on earth. And so the world knows you want that, and the world wants that. The world wants the power, the true power. And that is to be able to manipulate you, to be able to get you to do what they require, so that whatever it is that they seek, they can receive. And so what they basically do, ladies and gentlemen, they are willing to do whatever is necessary to use that which is good, to use that which is evil, to lie, to cheat, to steal, to kill, just to be powerful enough to control you. And what is happening all over the world, people are being controlled. Even here in the United States of America, where they have established a fake constitution talking about justice for all. And we who live in America today know that's a joke. And we got people who suffer at the hands of this maladjusted system. And I'm speaking not only of American system of socialization, but that of the entire world. And I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, that everything I say to you is to try to get you out of this mindset. You've been programmed to believe that this is the only way that things can be. In fact, you've been taught that this is the greatest of all the systems of the world. No health care that would cover the people of this nation, while other nations have, but yet we got the best healthcare system in the world. Economics, as far as people having the liberty to enjoy the benefits essential for survival of life, we got people suffering everywhere. I mean, there are other places that suffer more, but usually because people like us have done something to take and to seize what has been theirs for our benefit. And when I say ours, I'm talking about the power benefit. So they can manipulate it over us as they desire or as they see fit. And so, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm basically saying, we are living in this kind of world. I look at black people and people of color. They seem to have progressed so much. They're doctors and lawyers and presidents of universities. They're heads of major organizations. And yet, they are part of the system that promotes the degradation of human responsibility, the degradation of humans' life. But they don't know it. And the reason you don't know it, ladies and gentlemen, is because each of us have been taught in one way or another. Some of us have gone deep and call ourselves super. Some of us have been marginalized and stayed in the middle. And some of us, we can say, just have been at the rock bottom. And we have been set up within this system to reward you according to where your standards are, because the system knows that wherever you are, you work for the system. Like the political parties, Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. You work for the system. The system says if Republicans are not so good this time, give the Democrats a break. I'm sure they'll do something. And we can give the Republicans, and people keep on thinking they're getting what they want, and they are struggling for it, and that this is the way it's to be done. And so they never know the difference about what is going to really make a difference. They don't know how to engage themselves. They don't know how to employ what is required because they don't have it. And when they don't have it, they just can't give it. No doubt about that. And so, in case you think I'm just talking, if I ask just the general public out here in the United States of America who have been brought up within this society, and I ask you to speak to me in another language, foreign language, say French, Japanese, or something like that, it just cannot happen. Unless you've had specialized training to develop these, you will not be able to call on them and be justified. No, my friends. So what I'm basically saying, that the systems that we live under have programmed us to be just that. And we cannot more fantasize of a society of peace and prosperity than we can speak a foreign language. I mean, we look at that as being a dream. And even our preachers tell us that's on the other side of life. And when somebody comes to you like I and others, Dr. King and Gandhi, and I'm just naming these guys because they got a little prestige, and there's so many of us, or so many of you, who are out there who have nothing at all. And so, ladies and gentlemen, what is so important is that you recognize and understand that somebody's here telling you that. And as I tell you, you can only agree. Now, it takes some boldness in order to take the necessary steps to be able to walk with that light. It takes some boldness, especially when you've been struggling in darkness for so long. Or especially when you've been educated and trained to be somebody in this hellish hole that we live in, as your president would say, in this shithole. And now somebody's talking about making this difference. How can you do it? How can you do it? Well, for me to tell you how to do it, ladies and gentlemen, the way would be as me telling you to speak a foreign language, or I'm trying to, not language, speaking in a tongue, and I'm trying to teach you how to speak in tongues. That will never happen. I can speak to you about those principles that could be exercised in order to produce the kinds of things that I speak to you about, but they would just be as foreign to you as speaking in tongues. And so only a few of you will be able to understand. You remember the story of the 10th Commandments. Moses went on down in Egypt land and told old Pharaoh to let his people go. Now Pharaoh, hey, what God is there that's bigger than Pharaoh? There is no such thing. Well, that's the kind of world we live in today. There is no bigger God than those who are dictators. There are no bigger gods than those who control all the dictators, who control all the governments of the world. To them, there is no bigger God. And yet, the evidence that these are gods of evil is the pain and suffering that millions, perhaps billions, have to go and endure every day. Because the God that was responsible for putting everybody on the face of the earth is also a loving God and made it possible for everybody on the face of the earth to never have to suffer for anything. Not food, not clothing, not shelter, not education, not health care, not a career, and not just a career, but a career of their own choosing. And every career is intertwined in such a way that having exercised it, it brings back, it brings forward, it manifests all of the goods, all of the services that gives us our needs and our wants and our desires, that makes it possible for peace and prosperity and freedom and joy of life and the fulfillment of our dreams. I mean, this is a simple matter, but to most people of the world, it is speaking in tongues. But to those who are enduring in pain and suffering, they know what it's all about. But even they, like George Floyd, with the knee on his neck and only holler and scream, and if God doesn't come to their rescue, they are going to die, because what it takes and required of you to liberate them, you will not do. So rather than try to change things right now in the election of 2020, you're going to play dumb and repeat the same old crap you've been doing your entire voting life. And then you're going to wonder what happened. How do you think Donald Trump came? Because you would not admit the truth, that you're a hater, that you're a racist, that you're a bigot. You didn't want to admit that. Now the world sees you for what you are, and you still don't want to walk in a step of correction. You just want to get worse, 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 worse. Man tells you that a pandemic is killing you, and now you want to threaten his wives and his family for exposing the truth to the people. This is evil, ladies and gentlemen. Do I have to tell you? Do dead people have to tell you? This is evil. When somebody walks up to you and tells you that the other political party wants to take everything that you got and throw it away, and that's evil. You don't know it. It's just another part of the system to you. But I'm telling you, it's evil. Why? Because it causes more pain. It causes more suffering. And this is what the God of this world, who controls all of the systems, who controls all of the dictators, who control the going and comings of humanity, loves just like this. Because when you're like this, you're like a house that's shifted through a hurricane and on stilts. And what happens? It flows every which way. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you about the power that I share with you right now that's able, my friends, to watch the wildfires flow all, not just in Paradise, California, but all across the earth, and then make a path, my friends, for every last one of you to be prepared to live and survive this. Why? Not because of some miraculousness, but because of your hearts, because of your spirit, you're able to perceive what might happen and find joy in preventing it even before it even thinks about coming. Why? Your faith, evidence of things not seen. But anyway, I want to thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen, for giving me this your time. It's been a pleasure. Till next time, this is Eddie Marcus saying goodbye.